My name is Arin Lindauer, and you're listening to A Life Without Struggle. I'm a wife, a mother of 2 wonderful children, a 2-time best-selling author, and a highly driven and successful entrepreneur. In my 17-plus year career as a mindset and health expert, I know what holds women back from a life you only dream about. Whether you're a CEO, a businesswoman, or executive, I started this podcast because I have been where you are, and I know you want and deserve more out of your life. I believe women are limitless. We just get lost along the way. The process to get you there is the topic and purpose of this podcast. When you understand what you want, you can truly step into a life without struggle. Welcome, and I'm so thankful you're here. Welcome back to another episode of Life Without Struggle. My name is Arin Lindauer, and today this podcast is going to hit. This podcast is going to hit for all of my women who are doom scrolling and taking in so much information that you are so confused you don't even know which end is up when it comes to what to do for your health. So you don't need another tip. Okay, you don't need another tip. You need a strategy. Perimenopausal women are stuck in information overload. And it's not your lack of knowledge. It's that you have too much flying around. Okay, I want to talk to the woman who has 47 tabs open in your brain right now. You're looking at peptides, you're trying to find all the hormone hacks, you want all these cute workout plans, you want macros, you want to think about fasting, different supplements. And listen, you're saving all of the posts. You're listening to every podcast under the sun. You're asking me for tips in my DMs. And you're trying a little bit of everything, but still nothing is clicking when it comes to your body, when it's coming to your health. You are not seeing the results. And if anything, you feel more frustrated. You feel more inflamed. You don't have a knowledge problem. You have a clarity and strategy problem. So the information is on overload. Okay. You are in a trap right now, doom scrolling for all of your answers. You're ChatGPTing all of your answers. You're constantly searching for what is the best plan. And you start and you stop and you start and you stop and you're doing, what your best friend's saying that they're doing. And you keep piecing all this random information that's out there on the internet, and we still feel stuck. We still feel inflamed. We still feel bloated. If I have one more woman tell me she is bloated, okay, there's a lot more going on than just a cute tip, trick, or supplement to fix that. So your information is making you feel productive. You feel like when you've scrolled on the internet that you've got a new solution, but that is actually what's keeping you stuck. Because you don't have structure, you don't have consistency, and you don't have a long-term plan that actually works with your hormones, with your body at this and this menopausal space that we're in. Consuming more information without direction, coaching, and guidance is just sophisticated procrastination. Okay, I'm just going to say it. So you're taking in all this information, and all you're doing is you're just kicking the can down the field. And I watch this day in and day out with women coming into my DMs saying my message hit home, and yet they're still not doing anything about their health, or they're just going to try this new diet, this new plan, this berberine, this supplement, this peptide, right? And okay, let's talk about why this is getting worse in perimenopause, okay? And perimenopause, just heads up, is just a time and space. It is just a time and space where most of us tend to see a shift somewhere in 35 to 45, okay? And we're in this space until we hit menopause, and then we hit menopause and there's a new set of changes that occur with our hormones. The cool thing is when you're in really good health, you tend to really mitigate a lot of these feelings. So we need to talk about the physiology. Your hormones are changing, okay? Your body is not responding like it used to, and your results, they slow down, okay? So what do? Well, we search for all the things, right? We're looking at quick fixes. We're looking at magic solutions. I mean, I cannot tell you how many women I see injecting themselves now. And listen, I'm all about tools, and I'll talk heavily about peptides here in a second because they are fantastic tools, but they have to be partnered with the right solution, okay? And just full disclosure, a GLP-1 is a peptide. Okay, so let's just call it what it is. And so the other thing that I see is we just do extremes. I was talking to a woman the other day and she was intermittent fasting. She was sprinting on the treadmill. She was jumping on her trampoline. I mean, she went on and on and on telling me she was doing all these things. Yet here we are, she's at the heaviest she has ever been. And quite frankly, she was frustrated, and I could see it, and I could see the inflammation. And my heart goes out to her, and I hope she will consider my program. But it's one of those things where it's like less is more. And if you're doing all these things and you're not seeing results, you gotta consider something different. So perimenopause makes women feel so out of control. You don't feel in touch with your body anymore. If anything, you're feeling like a foreigner in your body, and you try to control everything but your body just feels so unpredictable, and you chase more information to try to chase that control that you're craving. When women transfer the control to me, I put the plan in place and we execute. It's amazing how quickly these results occur. So let's talk about some of these hacks that I'm seeing women get really drawn into. And one of them is the peptides. And this has become in my opinion, very predatory space. Okay. Supplements were already a very predatory. I mean, we all know the MLMs and all the things. And I mean, hell, we did them back in the day, but I never enjoyed the whole well, you can make money, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, okay, weird. I just want to get the person the right stuff that's going to help them. And peptides started being that same thing. I mean, God, this LEMD drives me insane. My apologies to any of the women who are using that right now, but hands down, I have been recruited more times. You would be a perfect ambassador for our program. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm actually partnered with a medical wellness company where I do an intake form and help my client get the right peptides for themselves from a doctor. Okay. And it is not a MLM. I am not getting rich off of peptides. I am just trying to get women the right things that are going to help them. And man, I get fiery about this stuff because you got to chase the money, people. If you're seeing people, anyways, I'm not going to go down that whole path because I could go down that hard. I just want to get women the right things at the right price and to help them put the pieces together, because peptides, supplements, protocols, stacks, listen, they all can have a place, but they are not the foundation, okay? If you're using peptides, for example, or if you're taking all of these supplements, but you don't have enough muscle, you are not doing your nutrition appropriately, you don't have structure and guidance around your workouts and your nutrition, and you are not consistent, are wasting your money because you're putting these tools on top of a broken system. Hands down, when I have a woman tell me that GLP-1 didn't work for me, and I'm like, well, there's no way in hell you did this the right way. And I mean that in love and respect, because listen, the GLP-1 has a time and place. I think it's a fantastic tool for a lot of men and women, but we have to be focusing on putting muscle mass on. We have to understand our relationship with food. Okay. This is a very, very important tool that we can use along with several other peptides. I get women asking me all the time, Arin, what peptides do you use? Are you on a GLP-1? Blah, 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 all this stuff. Listen, I've been very transparent about this, and there is not a one size fits all for women when it comes to peptides. Okay, personally, I have used BPC-157, and I still do to this day. Hands down, it has made me feel like I am 20 again. Okay, what the purpose for me with BPC 157 was to help pull my inflammation down. My inflammation was absolutely off the charts, but I also had to adjust my lifestyle. I couldn't keep training clients like I was training them and picking up plates. We had a gym at that time. And hands down, this has been wildly helpful, and it's very, very helpful from a recovery standpoint. Now, I have absolutely adjusted my workouts. I literally work out 3 days a week for about 45, maybe 60 minutes if the gym was really busy. And BPC 157 has been very, very helpful for me when it comes to inflammation. I also use tesamorelin. I am now cycled off of tesamorelin and I'm using ipamorelin. And these help stimulate growth hormone. Again, is going to help with recovery and repair and putting on muscle mass. They can also help with visceral fat. And so I would tell you that, yes, that was partially helpful in leaning out. Okay. Then I also use GHKCU, which is copper peptide. And I'm vain, right? Skin, hair, nails, whatever. And I've really, really enjoyed it. Now, I will tell you that is the one that I actually do react from that. It makes wherever I inject it itch really bad. So that one I cycle on and off of more so. And then I also use glutathione. Glutathione has been hands down helpful for me for detoxing. It's also got antioxidants, and that one I hands down really, really enjoy glutathione. And so that's it. That's all I'm using. Okay. I have plans to cycle some different ones. I want to try MOTS-C. That one is really helpful in leaning out. It's also helpful with mitochondria. Another one I've looked at is NAD, and just more from an energy spark, that kind of thing. Right now, personally, I'm working through a pretty devastating injury of pulling my rib out of place. We're almost there. I'm definitely moving in the right direction. So right now my focus is 100% on recovery. And so peptides can be helpful, but if you are not doing all the foundational things, I would never, ever, ever spend this kind of money, because they are an investment, but I would never spend this kind of money without having all of these pieces in place. They are not the reason I look how I look. It's how my foundation was. And then these helped the cells work better. So peptides are basically, they're amino acids that are already in our body. After about 35, we stop producing them at this level. So anyways, I could go on and on. Let me know if you guys want to know more about peptides. But again, this is not a quick fix. This is not just take a GLP-1 and all your life problems are solved. You have to put in the work if you want a certain look or level of health. Then let's talk about the workout and nutrition confusion, because this one fires me up, because man, I've seen a lot. Okay. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, and my family always being on a diet, right? I mean, I think I went to college drinking Slim Fast still. I mean, I remember drinking Slim Fast with my mom. And, remember when it came in a tin can, and then I think it moved into a different packaging. But anyways, I just remember that. Or the cabbage soup diet, or the if it tastes good, spit it out diet. That was an interesting one that our doctor actually recommended. Anyways, but here's the thing. I have seen all the fads. I have seen low carb, no carb, Atkins. I've seen keto, paleo, Whole30. I've seen low fat, no fat. I mean, what are we doing? Okay. And here's the common issues that I'm seeing is most of you guys are doing random workouts. I am extremely bullish when it comes to what should your workouts look like. The reason I'm so bullish about this is because this is what I went to school for. Okay. We took lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of classes on progressive resistance training, on what progressive overload looks like, and understanding how the body adapts. Okay. Because if you want to have good muscle and tone and definition, so first and foremost, you got to get the fat off your body, but then to build muscle takes time. Okay. And this is something that you have to put the work in the gym. This doesn't mean kick your ass every single day, but it means being very, very strategic. It also means we have to have progressive overload. You have to test out different reps, different sets, different weights. Okay. If you keep going in and doing the same workout over and over, I mean, I swear being back in a commercial gym, this last over a year now, and my heart goes out, especially when I see the women who go into those group fitness classes and they look the same that they looked a year ago, or they're worse, they're more puffy, they're more inflamed. And I just want to hey, here's my card. Maybe I should start doing that. I don't know, I'll probably get kicked out of the gym though. The other thing that I hear women tell me is, Arin, I eat well. We eat whole foods. I eat healthy, but you're inconsistent. Okay. And if you're eating all of the gluten-free, or they're cookies from Trader Joe's, Arin, they're better. And it's like, listen, I had one client that was so bloated all the time. And when I looked at her nutrition, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. All the Diet Cokes, all the gluten-free products, all the cookies and things here and there. And I was like, hey girl, we can solve your problems in 2 seconds. And man, even just after a couple weeks of removing the artificial sweeteners, getting all of the gluten-free products out of her life, man, her life just completely changed in how she felt. The other thing that I see is we go overboard on the weekend, and that hands down is truly going to completely derail everything that you did over the week. Okay, so we have to win our weekends. Also, so many women say, I track. Well, do you know that there's about a 20% swing if you're using something like MyFitnessPal or some of these other macro, I forget all the names of them because we have our own app, but those apps, anyone can put data into those to create the database. So how accurate is it? And if you're not weighing and measuring everything, which I get it, it's totally annoying, but your awareness around what you're actually consuming. And if you're working really hard to I'm going to perfectly eat 1,500 calories or whatever your numbers are, I'm just here to tell you, you need to have your guardrails. But if you've eaten your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we still got 200 calories, but you are satisfied, your protein's in a really good place, call it, okay? Call it a day. We don't have to eat all the way up to those calories, okay? But you think you're doing all the right things. And this is where I see so many women get so confused, because you think you're doing all the right things, but there's no progression, there's no measurement, there's no systems. You're stuck because nothing is working. You're not stuck because nothing is working. You're stuck because your nothing is not connected. Okay. So the real problem is, it's not your hormones. It's not your age. It's not your effort. It's your strategy, your structure, and your guidance. You don't need more tips. You need a system. And this is why I created my Infinite Women Hormone Optimization Program. Because what we do first and foremost is we reset your foundation. We're going to reduce your inflammation. We're going to balance your hormones naturally. We're going to regulate stress, build your foundation. Then we get you into rapid fat loss. This is a strategic deficit. This is focused on keeping the muscle, and if anything, building the muscle. This is having consistent structure and support guidance, okay? Then we get you into step 3, which is optimization. This is where we create more strength, longevity, energy. you just get this full lifestyle integration, and it's beautiful. The point of this is everything is connected. Nothing's random, nothing's trendy, nothing's reactive. This is when your body is supported properly. And guess what? It always works. Your body will always respond. So the woman who is stuck in information overload, listen, right now you are reactive. You're searching, you're second guessing, you're inconsistent. The woman who gets results, you're decisive. Get structured guidance and support. You're consistent and you ask for help. So I want to call you up. If you've been saving posts, trying different plans, Googling symptoms, ChatGPT and everything, and heaven forbid, asking me for tips, you're still not getting the results you want, it's not because you're failing. It's because you've never had a system that was built for you. I am just like you. Okay, you don't need another free tip. You need a proven path. Okay. So perimenopause isn't confusing because it's impossible. It is confusing because you're putting together fragmented pieces of information. Your body isn't broken. It is just waiting for consistency, structure, and leadership. Clarity creates results, not more information. Let's go.